What is up, my Lorcana Goons? Welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. You're watching the Friday Weekly Market Watch. We do these every Monday and Friday. We talk about Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. Welcome back, my Goons. My name is Kevin. We made it to Friday, almost to the weekend, and we have some stuff to talk about. And we have a lot more time today. We're joined with Zach Stone, who helps us talk about the market every Friday. Zach Stone is one of my good friends, plays a lot of card games with me, and makes a living selling cards. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Kevin. Honestly, I'm excited to get to talking about this market watch. There is a lot to go over, and honestly, the first thing that's right here is the Bruno Madrigal from the D23 promo set. Now, if you guys have just been living under a rock, this is sort of a promotional thing that Disney Lorcana did, and they had the 6 cards released in like a almost like a gift set sort of thing to celebrate the year of 1 year into Lorcana. But on the Bruno Madrigal, we have an error. So the wrong artist, I think, was credited for on the actual card. Is that right, Kevin?
Correct. Yeah. So they accidentally credited the wrong artist on the actual card. So and they're not gonna reprint it on the app. It is credited to the correct artist, however. But unfortunately, in real life, we're not gonna get any reprints on it. So it does kind of suck for the artist, in my opinion. Zach, what do you think about that?
Honestly, it's the quality control just kind of needs to be stepped up a little bit more on things like this. We've had a few mistakes made like that already on some cards, like I know the artist Cookie, they shortened their name, but this was completely credited to the wrong artist, which I think is like a huge thing to consider into the whole gift set as a whole. People were buying these things left and right, and there's a lot of people speculating on these, and a lot of people that were just trying to buy and sell just to get that quick money. But yeah, these D23 sets were at MSRP at $100, basically $99.99 plus tax. You were limited to only 2. However, there were people that decided to purchase more than 2 by just going back and forth in the line. There wasn't much done to prevent that, and now they're reselling for. You can find them on like Facebook groups from the ones that I'm in are for about like 150, 160 bucks. A lot of people are also breaking them and as far as selling the individual cards out of the sets too, and I think those actually have a little bit more value if you do that. However, you remove the long-term collectability by opening the set, I believe.
Yeah, most of the single cards sell for around like 50 to 30-ish dollars depending, but yeah, even if you sell them all at 30, you'll still make a little bit more than when you would by selling it for like 150 in person. But yeah, just like you were saying, I think the quality control speaks for itself with Lorcana. We've seen a lot of quality control issues from the jump from chapter 1, and it's still happening all the way until now, the 5th set, right? But this one does this is entirely different, just having the wrong artist's name and then Lorcana had to make a whole post about it. And they probably knew already that the wrong artist name was on there from the jump. They probably just didn't want to make a post until like after they were all, after the whole weekend, just to, who knows, maybe avoid any of that like supposed collectability that would have all that hype craze. But like you were saying, I don't think it's going to add any extra collectability to it, this card in particular, because we're not getting like an errata or anything. I guess it is an error. It's technically a misprint, but we're never going to get the correct printing of it. But these are selling for more than like 50 bucks now. Lowest verified for the Bruno is 49.99, and the after that it goes to 69.69, and there's not that many, so we'll see what happens with that Bruno. And if you want your collections, they're, like you said, they're online for a little bit less than 200 bucks. But if you're in Florida, you can also find the collections at the Disney Springs store. They've been restocking them, and I mentioned this on Monday's video. I said they could restock them, and then I even commented on that video and I posted an update saying, "Hey guys, I just found out that they have stock in Florida for Disney Springs, and they still have it. So if you're watching this video and you're in that area, go to your Disney Springs, Florida, and pick up your collections. They also have these Shimmering Sky starters. They have Inklands boosters. They have Inkland starters, and look at all these playmats they have from the new set. this is nice because you don't really find the playmats anywhere out here, is what it feels like, in my opinion at least. So the fact that they have a lot of playmats here, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, man, Disney Springs, they got it stocked up. Got my goons. Make sure you go check that out if you want your Shimmering Sky stuff, right, Zach?
Definitely, there were some pretty awesome things that I saw that were at the Disney Spring store on those pictures there. One thing to mention is they actually had some sleeves, the Tiana and the Aladdin sleeves. And honestly, like I haven't used these per se, but the people that do decide to use them use over sleeves. And I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor today, Pristine Protection. As always, got you on the sleeves. They have different sizes, of course. If you decide to you need Japanese size for smaller card games, or standard size, just like the ones that fit for Lorcana. But even what's best about Pristine Protection is that they offer over sleeves, the matte over sleeves that are used to go over standard size sleeves. And honestly, guys, if you are purchasing those sleeves from the Lorcana branded sleeves, highly recommend you buy a pair of over sleeves from Pristine Protection to put them over. They will keep the longevity of those sleeves. And also, guys, if you use our promo code Goons10, you'll save 10% off your order with Pristine Protection, and it always supports the channel. Look at all the colors they got, Kevin. I mean, which color is your favorite? I know you and I both use this product.
Yeah, I am actually partial to the pink and the black ones. I used the black ones when I made top 16 in Atlanta, and I used pink ones when I was in Chicago. No, sorry, Fort Worth, which is pretty cool. So, in general, though, I have I like colored sleeves more just to avoid any issues with seeing the backs or something. But I've never had issues with this brand in general, so that's always nice.
Yeah, no, guys, just a big heads up. Those Lorcana sleeves are nice, but I wouldn't recommend sleeving your Enchanted cards. And we got some Enchanteds to talk about today. Clarabelle, Light on Her Hooves Enchanted. It's one of those top Enchanteds because of the playability aspect too. All Enchanteds have collectability aspects, but the playability is one to always keep in mind for those that really like to flex out their decks. The price isn't too bad, at least from the one that we see here. If we can see some more reflective prices, though, we start to see it go up quite a bit. And right now we have Puzzle Knot Gaming getting you the best price at $140. The lowest verified, however, is $220. So there is a big discrepancy
Wow.
on the prices. And to be honest, guys, there's only 15 listings. None have sold for above 140. So that is always something to keep in mind. Last sold versus lowest listed is always the biggest point to make. And I mean, Kevin, you and I have always felt strong about this card the moment it got announced. And how do you feel about its enchanted price today?
Yeah, I'm a little mad that I didn't buy it for like $100. You know what I mean? Or I was seeing them for like 120, and I wanted to find them in person, but they're a little harder to find in person. I know I got sick after D23, so I wasn't able to go out anywhere. I have a friend who picked one up for $100 on the dot. I thought that was a great buy. And personally, I think these Enchanteds are so nice. Like they're so nice and appealing, and a lot of them are really playable. That I think this might be the first set that not only me but a lot of players start using Enchanteds in their decks to play. Because there's a couple more here that you're gonna see that are also like You're Welcome. For example, this one was less than $100, and we saw it on Monday and Friday, and we talked about how it was like at $90, and I was like, dang, less than $100. That looks really nice for this Enchanted. You're Welcome is probably one of my personal favorite songs in like all of like the Disney franchise. I know a lot of people hold Moana, to their like to their core as a movie. I know a lot of people like Maui as a character. So this in general is already just a cool like collectible Enchanted. And then on top of all that, the card is good. The card is more than playable. So like I know I'm building an Emerald deck, and I just want to play You're Welcome just so I can play at least like 2 copies of this Enchanted card in my deck, right? So we've seen this card also go up in price. A lot of them were selling for like $80ish to $90 from like opening weekends to Friday. Some as low as $70. Wow, that's a really good come up. And today, lowest verified is going to be $119, and then we even have Spellbound for $110, just a little bit cheaper. Most recent sale, like you just said, is kind of reflecting that $108 and $108 and $99. So around $100 to $110 for the You're Welcome Enchanted now, but they're more than $100 now. So these are slightly going up too. Same thing with Prince Naveen, dude. These were like closer to $100, 120, 130 on opening weekend, and the card's playable, the card's really good, and it's just been going up in price. And this one in particular, they're selling for more than $200 now compared to like opening weekend where they were selling for as low as 140. So the playability in these Enchanteds is definitely, I think, causing some sales movement. But that alongside the fact that they probably are the nicest looking Enchanteds that we've had in Lorcana so far, I think it goes a long way for some of these, right? So like lowest verified for Prince of Bean is going to be Mystic TCG, $200 on the dot, and then we have a couple other people. The card slinging slasher, shout out you unverified seller for 198 with $1 shipping for your Prince Naveen Enchanted, which again, great card. I know for sure I want 4 Clarabelles in my cow fishing deck. What about you, Zach? Any enchanters you're gonna play this format?
You're Welcome was definitely the one that I think you heard me say I want to play 4 copies of. I'm more of a foil player, and I prefer to get my foils, and I probably will play with foil Prince Naveens rather than Enchanteds. But You're Welcome just looks so cool. It really, really did.
Oh yeah.
And what's really cool is to see the price of Prince Naveen skyrocket from the pre-selling price of as low as $17. I think that we both talked about last week. Now we see it at closer to $35 today by card cravers.
Dude, on
Man,
Monday, I mean, you weren't here with me on Monday, but on Monday it was at $40. And last Friday, and last Thursday, Friday, we didn't really see it that high. But yeah, on Monday it was still at $40. It was selling for a lot. So if anything, to me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, the price kind of came down just a little bit, but it's still pretty high. You're right, $35 for each Naveen. They're not really, like I said, they're not selling for $40 anymore, $39.99 like they were on the 15th and the 16th. Some even selling for more than $40. But still, 34, 36. It jumps to $36 immediately. So it's still very close to 40, which is honestly pretty nice for a legendary in the set. And it's not the only legendary that we have that's good in this set, which is nice too. Cold Boil Naveens. There's 21 listings, and there are a couple bucks more. We have a non-verified seller for $44.95. Labor Delivers Spirit. After that, we have Shazes. Shout out you, $46.95, $47 basically for your foil. Prince Naveen's Mufasa, Ruler of Pride Rock, another great legendary in the set, has a lot of potential, selling for more than $30. So I think this set has some good legendaries. You know what I mean? $30 for Mufasa, not bad by card cravers. Lowest verified and cold foils. There's a couple listings, 24. We have lowest verified for near mint around $45 by PokePal Collectibles, 42 with $2 shipping. After that, it goes to 45 by Tux Trading. So it's a good card. My issue with this card is I don't know if I'm gonna play 4 of them. I probably only need to play 2, so I'll probably just wait because I'm not in a hurry to pick these up, right? I think it is kind of expensive right now for that card. But this card is like the bread and butter of the set, in my opinion. Clarabelle, light on her hooves. Oh my gosh, guys! If you guys have been watching the Market Watch videos from last Friday to Monday, me and Zach were even talking about, even during the pre-release, we were talking about how much we love this card, how good this card is in our opinion, how much potential there was. On opening weekend, we saw them for $7, $8, $9, and we were tripping. I'd even said like, wow, that's insane. Like that is way, in our opinion. I thought it was undervalued. I picked up a couple for the store that we do the whole tournaments at. I know Zach. This is a card that you were looking out for too. Today, lowest verified is now $31 by Shazes. Shout out Shazes, having the lowest prices. It's a $30 card now, my goons. And over the weekend, I think on Monday we saw it was like at $15ish, and I was still talking about how that's a decent price for the Clarabelle. It's a card that just nets you cards at the end of your turn. It can draw you potentially infinite cards if your opponent has infinite cards in their hand. Zach, what do you think of the Clarabelle situation?
well, I think that it's well deserved personally. This card is honestly the strongest card I think printed in the set. However, the only drawback I think is that there isn't too many good shiftable targets. Goes to say that that's kind of like the balance. I think they do this intentionally with some shiftable legendaries that are strong, or some shiftable characters that have a nice effect or very little drawback. Clarabelle just can put you back into the game that you didn't deserve to even be in. Plus, Emerald strategies can have a way to empty out their hand quite quickly with a bunch of low cost, pretty strong characters. And you are still able to play Diablo and discard cards from your hand to be able to shift onto a character. and this is also a card that when you shift can threaten cards like Under the Sea from being sung. So also just Lord, you're welcome. Being able to give them two more cards and removing a card from their board gives you the same ability to draw those cards if you have less cards in hand. So I've always thought that this card was insane when the moment it was announced, and I knew I wanted to make a deck evolving her. So honestly, yeah, the well deserved card, and I think cold foils are like just above like 45, almost $50. So if anybody has been looking to, I would say, pick up this card, highly consider picking up cold foils just because of the price discrepancies that you're not paying too much. But yeah, very gotta love to see it for sure.
I also do want to remind everyone, and including ourselves, that when the big box retail date happens, which is basically when the set comes to Target, Walmart, and all those places, the prices tend to come down a little bit, because there's going to be more in the market for sure. There's going to be more going around. The meta is not really established either. I do think there is certain hype, but in general, the card's just good. It's a safe card, and I disagree with you. There are very good targets to shift on this card. I think the 3-drop Clarabelle is very fair. You play it, you draw a card. The 1-drop Clarabelle is not bad. It pops an item. Everybody's playing Amethyst, Chromacon, Prince John's Mirror, Fishbone Quill, all this stuff. So popping items, I think, is pretty good. I think this card, yeah, I think the fact that they gave it good shift targets makes it pretty powerful in my opinion, because I'm happy to play those shift targets in my deck. And like you just been, and the thing about it is that it draws cards at the end of your turn, so you can even like waste cards in your hand to shift it, like the 1-drop, and the more cards you use in your hand, the better. You don't even need Fishbone Quill sometimes. This card could be used in Steel, it could be used in Ruby, it can be used in whatever green pairing you want to use, because it's just a very safe draw engine in my opinion. So it does remind me a lot of something like Sad Beast. But Robin Hood Sharpshooter, let's move on. Robin Hood Sharpshooter today has been going up in price a little bit actually since the last time we've seen it. $15, lowest verified by Big Pig Collectibles. That is some pig activity if I've seen it today, Zach Stone. $14.94, $15 for your Robin Hood Sharpshooters. And the cold foils today, 16 listings. Oh wow, cold foils are lowest verified $18.26, so only a little bit more. And look, there's non-verified sellers that have it for almost the same price. $12 with $5 shipping, so that's $17. $16.38 with 81-cent shipping, that's like $17. So I don't know, guys. Do you want to pay 15 to 16 for your non-foils or 16 to 17 for your cold foils?
I know what I'm doing.
Right?
Well, yeah, Kevin and I have always kind of rationalized the cold foil thoughts, and I wouldn't say a philosophy, but just what makes sense is if it's less than double. A normal price is less than double what a cold foil is. Consider buying the cold foil because of the longer term like price. You can have a higher price for a longer term. Normals tend to go down in comparison to their foils, where foils can only go up if the card somewhat stabilizes as a good card. Then again, there is hype, and there is also the big box release to come out in the future. So more and more of these will see, they'll flood the market a little bit more, and that's always good because it gets more people access to these cards that didn't have them before, or we're just waiting for the price to drop. But this is a card that Kevin and I didn't think that was that good, as well as this Merlin Intellectual Visionary. It's just a card that hasn't seen any breakout play in any deck lists as of yet. You have to shift onto this, and not the best shift targets unless you decide to play blue purple, which is a deck that I still have a hard time being convinced that is that good. But this effect is broken. I mean, there is sapphire Merlins that you can decide to play. They're not the best either, but if you're trying to stick to a ruby sapphire strategy with this, then you can definitely get away with that. Kevin, what are your thoughts on the Merlin again?
I think in general it's cool that it's still $10, right? Because I thought it would have fallen off already, just because, again, like you said, there hasn't been like a breakout hype deck. But shout out Steadfast, he did make a video featuring a Blurple deck that does play this Merlin, and Steadfast is a great player. I love his deck building spice. He's a great chef in the kitchen. You know what I mean when it comes to building some stuff. So go watch that video. Maybe it's something that you find yourself winning with or something. So I think it has potential. You just finished saying the effect is broken. Adding any card from the deck to your hand has to be good. So I think there just takes a certain players to break that. So it's still $10 plus. Castaway trading 10 with $1.50 shipping. DMV collectibles 11.75. So it's like a $10-11 legendary, which is not bad when we've had legendaries in sets that are like $5-3 even. So I can't complain about the Merlin, right? Daisy Duck. Still very expensive today. This is a super. I like that some of the supers are more expensive than some of the legendaries in this set. It's kind of cool. Lowest verified is going to be $20 by Top Dog Cards. Wow. Feel like I haven't seen this since like Lilo era. Remember? First chapter, Lilo's. And non-verified, though, you can get a little bit of a discount. Topher's Emporium, $17.99 with $1 shipping. So about $1 difference. Malaris Cards, $18 with $1 shipping. So you can save about $1 if you want to go through non-verified sellers for your daisies. And cold foil daisies are going to be a little bit just $5 more for a non-verified seller, but $10 more. Wow. Stone Drink collects $29.75 for your foil daisies. Check that out. I think the card's great. I think that hyper aggro is very real, and no matter how much you prepare your deck for hyper aggro, there's always going to be like some type of matchup where your opponent just opens up Daisy Daisy or like Daisy Pig Donald, and you don't have the out, and it's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, this is going to be the I don't know how to describe it, but this is just going to be what you have to build your deck to beat in the way. You can't disrespect Daisy Duck in the hyper aggro deck whatsoever. It's even scarier now with cards like gathering and knowledge and the gaining 2 lore just as an action. It has like the potential to just like finish the race, even if you're able to stabilize, because it's going to gain a lot of lore really fast, and you may not have the cards in your hand that even you have in your deck because you could just not draw them, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to like let them gain lore, get to that point where you can either board wipe them or stabilize the board. But it might be too late. They might just be playing some goat bounces on you, some gathering and wisdom and knowledges. And again, it makes every character they play a threat at that point, because you have to answer something that gains 2 lore. It's just so ridiculously strong. Daisy Duck has like very little drawback still, and
Mm-hmm.
not surprised to see where the prices are today. A lot of people said it was going to settle closer to around like $9-10, and I see it maybe hitting 12 for the normals, closer to the big box releases, but I don't see
Yeah.
it staying cheap for long.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, it's for sure not gonna stay at 20. I don't think it's gonna stay at 20. Less than 10 though, I don't know. The deck is very good. The deck is high, but it also depends. Like there could be a scenario where like a month from now nobody's playing hyper aggro, because that happens a lot in formats. People play the hyper aggro deck for the beginning, and then everyone figures out how to beat it. So we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Madam Mim Elephant, super rare in the set. Pretty expensive. Love to see it. Shazis, lowest verified, $6.15, shipping included. So it's about a $6 super rare for Madam Mim Elephants, and you don't even play like 4 of these in the deck, which is kind of interesting. I like the card. I think it's I was undervaluing this card. I thought it was a lot weaker than what it actually is. Very relevant this format. So I would definitely consider adding it to most amethyst packages. Even in like my broom deck that I'm building, I'm playing this over Snake now. I just think it makes more sense as a bounce target. But cold foils are about $10, which isn't bad. $9.49 River Town cards for your Madam Mim Elephants. Pretty nice as a bounce target. Chicha, Dedicated Mother, probably one of my favorite cards in the entire set. Look at this, the promo. Only one listing, $5, free win gaming. Love to see it. This is the league promo, so you do get this as a league promo, but it is kind of expensive already. It's a $5 league promo, so you get a little extra $5 on the side if you win your league nights, And then we have the rares. The rares for the Chichas non-foils are selling for $3 to $4. Check this out, Zach Stone. Lowest verified is going to be $3.99. Sorry, actually, yeah, $3.99. And then non-verified sellers have them for $2, $2.27, $2.30. But that's all with $1.27 shipping anyway. So you're going to be paying about $3 each for your rare Chichas, which is great.
This is a Sapphire player's dream. This card literally says when you ramp, you draw. And
Mm-hmm.
so that to me is just a insane effect. Its stats are fair. I think it has a little bit of a balance, being an uninkable card. Of course, if this was inkable, like it would just be way too strong. And the underrated ability to give characters the extra strength, I think, cannot be ignored. Again, hyper aggro is running around, so Daisy Duck's 4 willpower can be contested with another 2 strength character when this Chicha's in play. And Kevin is a huge fan of Emerald Sapphire, so Hidden Cove giving extra strength to one strength characters lets you finish the job there. And well, is there anything else I need to say, Kevin, or did I hit all the points?
No, yeah, it's a great card. Having support, like everything you just said, yeah, it has support. It's a 2 strength character. It's a great card. Don't sleep on Chicha's ability in Sapphire decks, man. I love it. I personally, I think it makes Sapphire playable with every color in the set, and I think that's awesome. Glad to see. So Elsa, the fifth spirit. This card's pretty popular too. Great in your Amethyst package to out opposing characters that might have evasive like Diablo or something, so that's kind of cool. Lowest verified today is going to be. Sorry, let me go through these with the five. Sorry, lowest verified is going to be 295 with a 127 shipping. And then if you want some cold foils, you said the cold foils come in the starter deck, huh, Zach? They're going to be pretty cheap too. They're about $6 for the cold foils. Prodigy Games 662 with shipping included on these Elsas. Pete Games referee, check this out. Pete Games. This one is no longer here because somebody bought it. But lowest verified for your Pete Games referee up for the cold foils are going to be $8.99 by Core TCG. So these cold foils are still pretty expensive. $9 for your Pete Games referee. I like the card, but I don't think I was saying before. I don't think it's like the end all be all of the format. You know what I mean? I've been testing it out myself, and it really is about knowing when to play this card. Like playing it before turn 6, trying to bounce it back again so you can stop like card like Grab Your Swords even or something. Pretty nice, pretty nice. What do you think of the card, Zach?
Well, yeah, I like the card because of how well statted it is, and honestly, it's you can't go wrong with it being inkable. It's just a card that also doesn't do anything into the hyper aggro matchup, which is something just to consider if you're building a deck, a steel deck right now, and how many copies you're going to play, and consider that your meta might influence that too. Sapphire decks are playing less actions, and they're just heavily focused on character cards that remove things in play. And there might just not be a good time to play this card into those matchups at all. So it being inkable is very much a saving grace, or else this card would be very questionable. It's very popular in the Amethyst Steel decks because of being able to bounce it, of course, and replay it just forces your opponent to just play with their characters and items for multiple turns in a row. And against certain decks, like the Lemon Lime Song deck, you'll kind of just put in a pickle because their characters are very lackluster if they can't sing any of their songs.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Especially when they need to like combo those songs off with like muses or stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, like yeah, it just puts them in a worse situation. So meta's gonna be pretty cool for that. So let's get on into some non-Shimmering Skies cards to remind ourselves, like, how else to play the game. Beast Tragic Hero, still pretty expensive today, but not as expensive as it was before. They used to be like 50, 60 bucks almost, but now you can find them for as low as $45 by King's Court Gaming. We have $43.98 with shipping included for your Beast Tragic Heroes. I think now that we have Clarabelle, you don't necessarily need Beast as your only draw engine, but maybe you can play both Beast and Clarabelle and just always have draw cards. Cold foils are still going to be $69.97 by Big Mom Empire, $70 pretty much for the Beast. Yeah, I think Beast's still going to be in the meta. I picked up my staples, and I'm just never going to get rid of like 4. I'm always going to keep 4 of them because I always want to have this card. You know what I mean? Let's see, Rapunzel. Rapunzel's still pretty expensive, $40. I like to see it going to be 42.41 by Everybody's Cards. Shout out Everybody's Cards for having Rapunzels. They're still $40+ though. That's very interesting. I think Amber Steel is still very much hyped right now. Prince Naveen obviously is probably one of the better decks you play. Sorry, you probably use Prince Naveen and Amber Steel as one of the better decks that you can play, or probably even like or Lemon Lime deck as well. And both those are obviously going to be able to use Rapunzel to a very to its full advantage. Cold foils for Rapunzels are still going to be $70+ games and stuff. $70 with $1.22 shipping. Wow, this is a classic card, huh, Zach? This is never going to go back down. At least that's what it feels like.
I mean, I think you and I have seen it very much higher, but that is first chapter, premium days that are no, a thing of the past. But this has been a stable. Oh, sorry, this price has been very stable for as long as I can remember until like set 3 even. So it seems like a very good investment to buy these cards when they dip below these prices, because that happens. I think this has been around $32 at one point within the last 5 to 6 months. So just to always keep an eye on these cards and keep up with the Lorcana Goons market watches to really just know how much these cards are. And appreciate everyone that does come to us for that. I would say input from what we have to offer. So the Rapunzel is just a card that's been one of my favorites. It literally says draw 3. And it's a princess, so you can never go wrong there. Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood has had its high price point since its initial release. This is not going away anytime soon. We've seen a lot of Robin Hood specific support in this most recent set. I actually had trouble with a Robin Hood deck the other day, just not being able to outpace it enough. But my deck was also just not necessarily designed to go against a deck like that. It was more designed in a way to play against either Hyper Aggro or Ruby Sapphire or even Ruby Amethyst. So it caught me off guard, and that's something I always think about too. If the deck can catch something off guard, doesn't matter what's the best deck or not. You might not be able to be prepared for it, and no pun intended.
Be prepared, he says. Non-foil Robin Hoods, by the way, selling for about $40, and cold foil Robin Hood selling for about $46.59 with $1 shipping by Cardigan Gifts. But this always happens. There's always people that have foils very close to the non-foil price. We have a non-verified seller for $42.98 with $1 shipping, so only about $3 more than what you would pay today for a regular non-foil Robin Hood, which is pretty nice. And this happens a lot with Robin Hood, which is interesting. I think Robin Hood in general has some type of collectability or something, right? Because this card just doesn't go down in price ever. It's a good card, but it's not like a mandatory card in Steel either. So yeah, I've always been curious about that. And I like how the cold foil and the non-foil price always are only about $5 apart. Specifically for Robin Hood. I don't understand it. But let's move on. Diablo Devoted Herald, pretty cheap today still, I think, as low as $31.32 by King's Court Gaming. That's pretty cheap in my opinion for a card that draws cards. I like it a lot. I don't think Clarabelle is the only card you need an Emerald to draw. I don't see why you wouldn't play both of the best draw power cards in Emerald. Sparkling City TCG has your cold foils for only $39, about $8 more for your cold foil Diablos than the non-foil Diablos, which is nice to see. And again, I think $30 is really cheap for this card. Just personally, this is one of the few uninkable legendaries that I think most people can agree that you have to play 4 of. If you're gonna play like any in your deck, you play 4. You know what I mean? So the fact that it's still only $30 is a little crazy to me when a card like Naveen is $40, and I feel like that's even more niche, right? I don't know. That's just my opinion. Bell, strange but special. We have some light plates selling for around $15-16 if you want them near mint. Near mint, lowest verified is going to be Over the Top Games LLC, $18.70 with $2 shipping. And then we have some near mints from Bot Collectibles with the same thing, 18 with $2 shipping. So around $20 for your Bell, strange but specials, which is not bad in my opinion. What do you think, Zach? Is this card going out of style?
I disagree. I think this card, if anything, gets a little bit better. Being just realize it's a hero.
Yep.
Being something that can actually see some play in the Hero Sapphire decks. Emerald Sapphire actually plays copies of this card because of just getting more cards out of your hand so you can draw more off Clarabelle.
Yeah.
There is a theme here to emptying out your hand and drawing and replacing those cards, just because of how strong that card is. So Clarabelle being as good as she is, I think will make cards like Fishbone Quill and Bell Strange but Special a little bit more playable because of how many cards you become can be get out of your hand that quick. And don't get me wrong, Emerald has a lot of other powerful tools to, I think, be able to ramp as well. There's that Hey, for example. The being able to
Combo that off.
replay. Yeah, being able to like replay certain characters too, with some of the bounce cards Emerald has. I don't know if it's been explored yet, so who knows? We might see like an Emerald control deck.
Yeah, there's like I know that list floating around for Emerald Sapphire in particular, that has been shared by like YouTubers and on Index. It was from a tournament, and it's playing like Tamatoa, Dime, Bell. It's a little bit more like a later game deck, which is cool. I like that concept that you just mentioned. How yes, it does help you like ditch your hand to play Clarabelle and refill your hand. It's kind of like playing a whole new world, but without your opponent drawing 7, which is nice. Which that's always cool. There's a couple other ways I'm sure you can play it as well. But yeah, Bell definitely something to consider because of how cheap it is today. Same thing with Ursula Deceiver of All. Less than $20. NYC best TCG, $17 with the dollar shipping for your Ursula Deceiver of Alls, which is pretty nice. Less than $20. Cold foils, wow, only $25 with $2 shipping, going by Pokepole's master over here. After that, Skynet lowest verified going to be $26.99, so almost $30. And we're still waiting for that errata to be officially printed, by the way. No confirmation on that, just throwing that out there. Whole new worlds are going up in price, man. I think with Prince Naveen being like one of the most sought after cards in the set, but you play that in Amber Steel, you can play Naveen, play Whole New World. I think that's a pretty cool combo. No surprise why Whole New World's going back up in price, almost $13 again. King's Court MA has you for $12.71, lowest verified for your Whole New Worlds. They were closer to $10 for the longest time, and they're gonna hit $15 again, I think. And look at this, the cold foils, $22.87, lowest verified by Warp Storm, with $1.27 shipping. So not $25 yet, but more than 20 for the cold foil Whole New Worlds now. That's cool to see. I think for the longest time they were sitting at 20. They were at 30 at one point. They bounced off and they never went back, but I don't know. They're slowly climbing up a little bit. Lucky Dime also kind of going back up in price a little bit. These are going to be close to $15 again. $12.95 by Skynet, shipping included for your non-foil Lucky Dimes, and your cold foil Lucky Dimes are going to be around $20. Check that out. We have a near mint $19.25 with $1 shipping. Lucky Dime is like kind of a weird card right now because of all the hyper aggro, but like it's never a bad card, right?
Well, this card is just OTK potential always, and
Yeah.
I don't see a drawback in Sapphire. Just being able to get to a high amount of ink to play this card, and just having a way to ink it if it's stuck in your hand is always really strong. If it's ever banished and in a discard pile, Tamatoa can always add it back.
That's always really nice, yeah.
Very, very crucial to its strategy, being able to just gain lore without questing. So you kind of don't care if your opponent removes the characters because you already gained the lore from it. And if you can't remove the Lucky Dime, then that's just going to keep happening. So yeah, this card isn't going anywhere, and I don't think they're going to make the Sapphire deck have. I don't believe that the Sapphire deck's going to be given something better than this. And it's always good to see a card stay in a healthier price point, just like Yin Sid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this card being played at all. I haven't seen a lot of Broom decks in set 5 yet, but we still have Big Mom Empire at a $10.34. They got 5 copies, so there's a playset available from this seller right here, and it's not left this like around $12 price range in a long time, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's never fallen below $10, which is cool again for legendaries because we've seen legendaries like Gontu $2, the Camilo Madrigal, the new one, $3, Genie $3. So the fact that there's still some legendaries that are $10 probably just because of the collectability, the IP, whatever, yada yada. I think that's cool. It's a very safe legendary to pull if you ever get like a free pack of set 4 and you pull Sid, you're like, oh cool, $10, right? Because it could have been a Gontu. Just remember that. Be prepared. Lowest verified are going to be 1024 for be prepared, going back up in price steadily. These were less than $10 for a while, is what it felt like, and I feel like they're definitely relevant in a big aggro format. King's Court MA has the cold foils for as low as 1874. Shout out King's Court. They have the lowest prices today on a lot of these things because after that they jumped to $20 on these cold foils. PC card stock 1779 with $1.20 shipping. Then the daily grind TCG $20 with 91 cents shipping included. So more than $20, very close to being for this cold foil. Be prepared. Queen's Castle kind of coming down in price is what it's looking like, Zach. Kind of chilling out a little bit. Non-verified sellers have them for a little bit less than $10, $9.69 with $1 shipping. Lorcana Golden Lady is going to be our lowest verified. Shout out you for $10.95 with shipping included. These were like $15 for the longest last format, and I feel like a lot of people are switching over to library instead, and or realizing that you don't need to only play this location. So it's kind of coming down in price a little bit. The demand isn't as there as it used to be. You know what I mean? Hades, Infernal Schemer. This one has been going up in price just a little bit is what it feels like. We have lowest verified by Lorcana Golden Lady. Again, they have 5 of them ready for you. $8.90 shipping included. Almost $9 for your Hades. And I like this card again, this format. I'm playing it in my cow fishing green blue deck. Cold foils are still pretty expensive, which is nice to see. Jade TCG cards, $32.69 with $1.27 shipping. I like how first chapter legendaries just are nice. More than $30+ for this legendary from the first chapter for the cold foil, which is cool. Fishbone Quills, check this out. Less than $10 today. Sparkling City TCG, $8.50 for your non-foil Fishbone Quills. I think that's a decent price. Anything less than $10 for staples like this is nice. Cold foils are maintaining their price, which is nice to see. CCG Professionals, $18.69 with $2.49 shipping. $20 on the dot is what it's looking like. Maybe a little bit more. I picked these up a long time ago for like $12 to $15, and I've just never sold them. I'm so glad I have my cold foil Fishbone Quills. I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of them, and every format they go up and up and up. You know, that's what it's looking like. So cold foil staples is my personal favorite. Lilo making a wish, and the big comeback, the first chapter comeback. Lilo, love to see it. Oh wow, on Monday these were $7. Now look at this, lowest verified is $9.40 by JWW Cards, almost $10. You can get a bit of a discount if you go through non-verified sellers though. We got 3 Dudes Gaming, shout out you guys, $6.50 with $1 shipping, so just a little bit more than $7. Oregon Beach Cards, One Mind Gaming, these are around $8, but like I said, after that it gets to $10 really quick. What do you think of this, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of interesting to think that, like, if you're gonna want to buy 4 of these right now, you're gonna be spending on average about $8 to $9 a copy. There's only one seller at that price and another seller at a higher price, and it keeps going up. So this is just a card that will go up. And honestly, if you're watching this and listening to this today, and you haven't picked up your Lilo Making a Wishes, buy them. Buy them and you won't regret it. It's not something that I'm predicting or not something that I'm giving as like advice, but just buy them and you won't regret it because you're going to be realizing that these cards are not going to be as available. A lot of people are going to gravitate to this hyper aggro deck. I can't imagine this not being the most dominant deck in the format for a while. So
Yeah,
just consider that.
it feels like one of the safer decks to play for a lot of people. And Lido's a first chapter card, so first chapter cards are just a little bit harder to find. Even the cold foils are going to be kind of going up in price for these Lilos. Actually, you can find some still pretty cheap, around $6.77 with $4 shipping, so around $10 for the cold foils. And the non foils are already hitting close to that $10 mark, so you guys might as well pick up cold foil Lilos. I think. Oh wow, that's pretty nice actually. If I find some cold foils in person, definitely picking those up. Even the Maleficent Biding Your Time, this is from the first chapter as well. These are shooting up in price too. $6.50 with $1 shipping by Malaris Cards, non-verified seller. That was verified for a near mint Maleficent's not even, it's going to be at the bottom of the page. $8.25 by Zig's Card House. So this is about an $8 non-foil near mint. And the cold foils, check this out. These prices are just everywhere. We have Poppet's Game Room, $8.77 with $1 shipping. That's basically the same price. So I think you should just buy the cold foils, right? And then, but they shoot up from like $8 to $10 to $12. Dimension Gaming at the bottom of the page. So it's like you were saying, Zach. There's just a demand for these, and it's first chapter stuff, so it's harder to come by. And I think it's gonna, I think the demand is gonna be there for a cool minute. Mulan, Elite Archer. Tell us about this one.
Well, this is the one from the Illuminator's Quest. So this one is a always going to be cold foil, never a normal version. Has those tentacles around the borders, and it is around $7 today. I think if you were to buy the normal versions from the actual Ursa's Return set, they would be closer to around $5. But yeah, we're seeing some deck lists start to add copies of Mulan to combat the hyper aggro deck. The honestly, the ship Mulan is just scary enough as it is that some people from the games that I've had testing with, when I've added Mulan in my deck, if I have a ready Mulan and it's about to be turn 5, they really consider how they develop their board. They have to realize that Ship Mulan could end the game for them. Being able to take out 3 characters is for one is very powerful. So I think this card starts to see more of its play. Amber Ruby decks could take full advantage of this card using the multiple Mulan characters. And we don't even need necessarily Mufasa, I think, to make this card good, because it's only when it's shifted does it get its +3 per turn. But I've also been experimenting with Emerald, and there's a lot of Emerald cards that give strength to characters, so even after you shift, you can still be able to clear a nice board with some extra items, locations, and actions.
Yeah, you and that Christmas deck, bro. But yeah, it's like a Tinkerbell. It's like a Tinkerbell effect for Ruby, which is really nice against that hyper aggro stuff, because sometimes it does feel like hyper aggro slaps Ruby around a little bit. Speaking of Ruby cards, Flynn Rider going down in price. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. This was mandatory last format. I feel like a lot of people aren't playing this format. These were like $6-7. The cold foils were like $15-20 in the hype. Now lowest verified is going to be $3 by Epic Card Games. And yeah, you can find them for less than $5 now for your Flynn Rider's frenemy. Pig, Poo Pirate Captain, love to see it going up in price. Lowest verified is now going to be, what is that? Dang, it's going to be, yes, $3.47 with $1.27 shipping. Love to see that. And non-verified sellers have it for $2.79 with $1.27 shipping. Charlie Lorcana. So it's going to be about a $3 to $4 non-foil.
Kevin, this card is $5, and that is all I'm going to say. You will spend $5 buying this card from any seller on TCG Player. So
Pretty
I would
much.
say that this is a $5 card, and I have said this for a month and a half. And
not Charlie Lorcana. If I buy from Charlie Lorcana, it'll be about $4. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The thing about it too, though, is that you can find it in the Lumineer's Quest as well as a cold foil. So the cold foils aren't going to be super expensive. The cold foils are like $6. Which is nice. We have Salt Bros collectibles here, $4 with $2 shipping, which is not bad at all for your piglets. But you can get them in the Lumineer's Quest as well. Strength of Raging Fire, very good staple. You might want to look into this format. King's Court, $3.67 with $1.27 shipping. Lowest verified. I think that's still pretty cheap for some of these staples. Along came Zeus.
And that's another card you can get into Lumineer's Quest, by the way. The Strength of a Raging Fire.
Oh, okay. Oh, that comes in there too. That's really nice. No wonder it's still pretty cheap. Okay. Good to see. Along came Zeus. We have some Zeuses here. We have non-verified sellers who have them for as low as $3.43 with $1.27 shipping, and then near mint verified sellers have them for closer to $5, $4.49 by Mike Z Gamer. Shout out you guys for Along Came Zeus. These are some cards that I think are worth looking into. Pinocchio Star Attraction. I know you're playing this in your hyper aggro build, Zach Stone. It's looking like there's a bit of a demand for this card, kind of going up in price a little bit from $1.30 to closer to $2. Lowest verified is now going to be So Delicious, $1.89 with $1.27 shipping. And then Skogan's Collectibles. Wow, these are just some interesting names for sellers. $2.21, and this is for the non-foil, so it's about a $2 non-foil rare now. Cold foils are going to be just a little bit more, closer to $5. What it's looking like, crazy deals. $3.28 with $1.27 shipping for the Pinocchio Star Attraction. You really like questing for 3? You think it's worth it in that hyper aggro deck?
I just think the pressure that this card puts, and just gaining 3 lore immediately, or even gaining 4 when you play a Donald in combination with it, I think is really good. And I've had some interesting situations where I'm not able to, I'm not always able to get the piglet to have enough characters in play. So I just want the additional questing power that a Pinocchio offers. And it's not a card I'm playing 4 copies of. I can admit that, but it is a card that I am testing too to see if it makes sense. But for how I have built the deck, I think the additional 2 drops are important. And the Donald Duck that I just mentioned is a cold foil that I've been seeing going up in price. I had like a bunch of these since I just recently went through all my foils and organized them. So if you guys ever are local to the area and come visit me at Frankensons, there's plenty of foils that I have. And I can tell you that I am sold out of this one though. This Donald Duck is around $3 to $4 depending on where you get it from today. And cold foils are the way to go. This card was probably 50 cents a month ago, and if you were able to buy them then for $1, then you definitely made a few bucks on each copy. And honestly, this is a 4 of in that deck too. Just this kind of reminds me of like a pseudo goat, because
Yeah.
it's a goat that you can play and gain the lore when you play it, and then on the off chance it doesn't die, it gains a lore when you quest. And that's all goat does, is when you play bounce goat, that's all it's going to accomplish. And its only drawback is that it's a 2 strength character, so it dies to cards like Sisu and Under the Sea.
I
But
mean,
it's
it has bodyguard. I mean, at that point, it's a Simba. It's a Simba plus goat ability. It's card's great. Card's great. I felt like I really liked it when I was playing the Blue Fossa deck last format, and I was trying to get cold foils. I just didn't think about it, but love to see it. Love to see the Donald appreciation. Blue also very important in that deck. Some people play 4, some people don't. Cards been going up in price though. Regardless, cold foils are now almost $6. We have lowest verified chases $4.50 with $1.27 shipping. Some non-verified sellers like Dolly Dashin right here have it for $3.49 with $1.27. But you're gonna be paying basically $5+ for this cold foil blue, which is nice for your hyper aggro decks. And yeah, man, some other cards that are played in the hyper aggro deck that are still pretty expensive. Chernobog's Followers. This is like the most expensive uncommon in Lorcana, I think. Lowest verified is Shazes, $1.39 with $1.27 shipping. This is almost a $3 uncommon, and that's for the non-foil for this card. Cold foils are still going to be around $5, actually $3.99 with $1.27 by R&R Gaming LLC. Makes sense. It's a pretty good card, very good in the hyper aggro deck. You quest until you need to draw, and then you just filter your deck out, so that's really nice as well. Before we finish off, I do want to go over some other sleeper cards I think are very good this format, like Kit Cloud Kicker. I love this card in Emerald right now. Every time I play against hyper aggro, I just want to see all the Kit Cloud Kickers, so I definitely want to pick up some of my league promo foils because they're only $1 right now, and I think that's pretty good. And same thing with, we don't talk about Bruno. This does have an Enchanted though, so maybe I just might try and find the Enchanteds while they're cheap, but the cold foils are still less than $5. Crazy cute cards. $3.49 with $1.27 shipping. And that's the last card for this Friday's Market Watch. Zach Stone, Shimmering Skies, has been only in the meta for about a week. Pretty exciting so far to see all the hype that's happening. What's your favorite card that you're looking out for this weekend, Zach? Mine is Clarabelle, if you guys didn't know already.
Kevin took mine, so I guess I gotta say Robin Hood Sharpshooter. Just because I disrespected it, and I not that I want to take it back, because who knows, maybe the card won't be as powerful as I thought. But just a thought did dawn on me, and it allows you to play 2 removal actions in a turn, and no card right now like can kind of like accomplish that. I would say. You have a lot of new Emerald characters that have a unplayability that allow you to do something with an additional ink cost. Robin Hood just says quests, and that's actually pretty strong. So I gotta say that this is like an honorable mention. Probably my second favorite to Clarabelle, of course, but Robin Hood is something that I think would probably still be in contention to be probably the top 5 cards of the set. The Daisy Duck probably takes second, and then we have to consider other cards like other legendaries like Mufasa, for example. But this is probably arguably top five from the set.
I just want to put on record that I didn't take your card. I was a Clarabelle believer from the jump. You don't even know Zach Stone. I am the Clarabelle originator. Look, the moment, look. I literally made this. I made my Clarabelle deck Friday, bro. You don't even know. I am a Clarabelle. I'm a Clarabelle goon. I am a
I
Clarabelle
I, I
goon.
have I have my foils already, so yeah, we
No,
can
I have
we,
my,
we can go there.
I got my playset of foils too. By the way, this is for the
Okay.
store. I ordered so many that weekend, guys. When we saw them at $7, I got a bunch at D23 in person and online. And these are for like the LGS that we host tournaments at. So please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, so you can find out. It's in Long Beach, California. We're doing an Enchanted tournament for Revive. By the way, it's only a $5 entry. So if you guys are in SoCal, be sure to pull up there. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, man, can't wait to see what the meta is looking like in the future. Until then, be sure to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. My name is Kevin. This is Zach, and we appreciate you guys. And we'll see you goons next time.